is my base going to be for my building? Am I going to like have points on my building or my lantern? Okay, so let's just say if I know I'm going to make a lantern or a ceramic house that looks something like this. This is just my rough sketch so that you guys can picture what I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm going to make some sort of a house that's going to have a peaked roof. That's my plan for my ceramic building. Okay, I've got my plan. I'm going to make it 4 by 8. So now I need to go make that template. Okay, so if it's going to be 4 by 8, I need to make the base. That's 4 by 4. Okay. So be down in this corner here. Go ahead and mark off that 4 by 4. 4, 4. There's my 4 by 4 square base. And I want to label it so that when I'm going to cut all these slab parts out, I know what belongs to what. Okay. And now let's say I want to go and work on this peaked side, this tall slab side. Okay. And I know that I want it to be at least 8 inches tall. So I'm going to build that off the side of my base here. There's 8 inches. When I look at, oops, sorry, I can't see my ruler. There we go. There's 8 inches. When I look at 8 inches, that feels maybe a little bit short when I see 8 inches visually. So I'm going to go, okay, maybe I want it a little bit longer. Maybe I'm going to move to like 11 inches. And 11 inches is that way. Okay. And so then I'm going to mark that off down here. Sorry, I'm going to get my paper to scoot over so you guys can see it. There we go. So I'm going to mark that off down here. And same with the top side. So right now I have an 11 by 4 square marked out, but I know that according to my plan that this is going to be peaked. So I'm going to go back to the top here, and at this 11-inch mark, I'm going to peak it down. So I'm going to go down on this side and down on this side. You can use the ruler, you can freehand it. Totally up to you. But now I've got a base and I've got a peaked side. We'll just call this peaked left. Now I can go ahead and just make a copy of that. I can cut this out and trace it to make my peaked right. Okay, so I know my peaked right is going to fit in here, and I'm going to trace this peaked left one to get my peaked right one. It's going to look basically the same. If I cut it out, then I can have it exact. And then I still have 2 more sides of my building, right? I have this non-peaked left and right side. This side over here and this side over here. This up here is the roof. That's a separate thing that we'll worry about next week. Okay, I'm just worried about the sides of my lantern. Whoops, the sides of my lantern. Or the sides of my building this week. So these 4 sides in the bottom, I'm not worried about the roof right now because the roof is the cover. We're doing covers next week. Do not worry about making a template for covers this week. Okay, so if I need to make these short sides, I can go back to my peaked one. I need to look at where my peak ends because that's where my short side's going to end and measure it. And my short side is 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to make some 8 by 4 boxes that go down this way. Excuse me. Okay, so I marked 8 inches there. I know it needs to be 4 inches tall because that's the depth I'm using. 4 and 4. Draw that rectangle in. Okay, so this is left short side. And then I'm going to be able to make a copy of this one for right short side. I'm out of paper, so I'd have to get a new piece of paper and paste and cut that out. Okay. And so that's the first part. That's just laying out all your template pieces. So I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm going to have pieces that I can trace onto my slabs to get the exact right size of my slabs for my lantern sides, right? Okay. But I don't want you to stop at just, excuse me, I don't want you to stop at just sketching these and cutting these template sides out. I want you to add details to them. Okay, so on these template sides, excuse me, I want you to go in and figure out exactly where your openings are gonna be. Okay, so on my left peak side, I think I wanna have a triangle window that goes in here. I'm gonna get that sketched out on here. On this left peak side, I think I'm gonna do some sort of like double door carving in here. I'm not gonna do it as an opening, but I'm gonna carve it in, or maybe attach some extra slabs so that there's some physical doors on it. On this left short side, maybe I'm gonna do one of those big, like, circle Catholic windows. I shouldn't say Catholic window, Gothic window. And I'm gonna do some really fancy openings here, okay? I'm gonna sketch that out. I'm gonna plan this out so that when I'm finished with this paper template, I have a full-size plan, a full-size paper plan of what my lantern or my house should look like, okay? I wanna get that done before I even go to roll the slabs. I want to be able to see a full size paper example of what your slab lantern or your slab house is going to look like.